Hey boys and girls, as you know, or maybe you don't, I took a few days off recently from grinding on Bugsy because it's really been getting to me after the whole rear suspension collapse incident. It's just moved on up the priority list. I've kind of lost confidence in driving Bugsy. There's absolutely no point building a car that you don't feel comfortable driving. So I'm going to need your help again. So Bugsy has a triangulated 4-link suspension system with coilovers. Until recently, I had no idea just how complicated this system actually is. When I fitted it, it's because it's the parts I had at the time, and the guy that was helping me build it just said, throw that on, it'll be fine. But it's really not fine. I've had a lot of help from you guys, a lot of suggestions and criticisms, and basically, if you don't get 4-link triangulated especially spot on, then things just break. It's not an ideal system. And as 57 Chevy mentioned on an email the other day, no production car comes with coilover systems. Yes, you have coils over springs, but they're not coilovers, they're not adjustable coilovers that you get from like eBay or Amazon. They just don't build them, and there's a pretty good reason for that. They have to be very precise in how they're fitted. And as you can probably tell from Bugsy, nothing is precise. So I'm starting to think that the whole coilover thing is just not going to work for my situation. However, I do have an alternative, and this is where I'm going to need your help. Follow me. What we have here is the original leaf springs that were on the frame of Bugsy when I got it. They are huge, and the reason, well, two reasons I didn't install these when I built Bugsy. One, I already had the 4-link system on a shelf, and I kind of had it in my head that must fit 4-link triangulated. I've got the coil springs, I've got all the parts, must fit. But that was probably a bad way to think of it. The other reason I didn't fit was these are huge. As I said before, these are huge, and when the frame was resting on the ground, it was sitting really high. Now, that was before I knew a thing about leaf springs. So what I need to know is, I've already looked up a bit about the shackle angle and how that affects how much the spring comes up and how stiff it is. But I need your advice on, do I need to modify these springs? Like there's 7 leaves in this. Do I take some out? Do I add blocks to lower it down a bit? I just don't know. I don't know anything about these. The only thing I do know is that at least with leaf springs and shock absorbers, you're not relying on 2 small coilovers to take the whole weight of the car at the back. You know, if your shock goes with a leaf spring system, you've still got the weight going onto the leaf springs to support it. Also, apparently their leaf springs are more reliable and just easier to manipulate, you know, without having to weld on all sorts of weird brackets and rose joints for the coilovers set up, all that kind of stuff. So this is where we're at. I don't even know what weight Bugsy is. I don't know what these springs are rated at. But I think Bugsy is lighter at the moment than he was originally. And that's probably why the brakes lock up when I slam them on. You've probably seen that in a couple of previous videos. The back brakes seem to just lock up. I just think there's no weight in the back. I don't know what to do, but I need to do something. So my wife is concerned that if I fit the leaf springs, it will turn the back end really floaty, okay? I don't actually know. I've assured her that you can make it feel, you know, the same as it is with the coil springs, but I'm just trying to reassure her that it will be fine. But honestly, I don't know if it'll be fine. Is there a way to set up leaf springs and shocks that it drives like, you know, a fairly modern car? I know we've got a rigid axle at the back, so it's never going to be the same as a modern car. But I don't want it too soft at the back. I don't want it too bouncy. Remember, the front end is independent front suspension from a Crown Vic, so it's pretty stiff and pretty hardcore compared to the back might be. Oh, I don't know. So that's pretty much where we're at. So I need advice on adjusting the springs. I mean, Alan was over the other day and, you know, he told me you take like every second leaf out if you want to make it softer or whatever. And I watched a really cool video. You know what, I'm going to add a link up here. I watched a really good video on shackle angle. Shackle angle? Yeah. Really, it's quite an in-depth video, you should watch it. Apart from that, I don't know, it's easy enough to mount. The mounting positions are still on the car. I never cut them off. So I know where they've to go. I would just need to get the big U-clamp things and maybe blocks to attach it to the axle, and then fabricate a couple of mounting points for new shock absorbers. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for today. Oh, there is one thing. As much as I was having a few days off, Ailsa did something in the car. Let me show you. My wife does not like sitting about doing nothing. So even though I don't have the doors ready for door cards, she did decide to make me a headliner. Now, it's not a conventional hang down one, but I think it looks pretty good for what it is. And I'm very pleased. It kind of goes with the rest of the car. It's not perfect, but and we'll be reattaching some that's come unstuck, but I think it looks pretty good for the vintage of car that we've created. And one thing that I did do, I removed the little U-shaped brackets that go around the top of the mirrors. They hook round behind the frame of the door, the window, but they were actually catching on this edge, so I basically took them off and I've just drilled a hole straight through the door. Worked much better. That's pretty much all I've done this weekend. Oh, actually I also managed to fit a couple of these centre caps to the middle. It's amazing what you can achieve with some insulating tape to space things out. So there you go. I'm not even going to start doing anything with the suspension until I get lots and lots of help and advice from you. That sounds really greedy, but I don't want to keep making the same mistakes. And I'm going to really have to listen to you guys this time. Spent enough time and money on those coilovers. They're not working for me. So let's get it right this time. So that's all today. Let's hit the comment section. Let me know what I'm supposed to do, and we'll hopefully get stuck into it this week. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Ta-ra.